in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched. It is in this vital national security interest of the United States to prevent and deter the spread and use of deadly chemical weapons.
That was President Trump last night announcing the U.S. missile strike against a Syrian air base. Now, the U.S. Navy, they launched 60 Tomahawk missiles. 59 of the 60 hit the target with only one landing in the sea. Now, the Tomahawk missile is a very effective choice for a strike like what we saw last night. It is a precise weapon. It can be fired up to 1,000 miles away. Joining us now with more is the host of War Stories, our friend Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Colonel, we have the images. 59 out of 60 targets, pinpoint accuracy, all missing on purpose the chemical weapons that were stored at that air base. Tell us more about this incredible weapon and the professionalism of our military.
Well, let's start with the idea that if you want to send a message, you can send flowers, but if you want to send a message that matters, send cruise missiles, and that's exactly what the president did. The good news about all this is that, one, no U.S. casualties. I remember well that what happened when we did this to Muammar Gaddafi back in the 1980s and President Reagan launched, we didn't have these kinds of missiles in the quantities that we now have them. And we lost an F-111 with 2 airmen. That didn't happen last night. The targets that were struck were all pinpointed well before they were launched. The GPS coordinates were plugged into them, and those missiles were ripple fired so that there was about a 4-minute span between the time the first missile hit and the last missile hit. And as you pointed out, one missile misfired and went into the sea. The bottom line of this is that Vladimir Putin now knows that if he wants his stooge, Bashar al-Assad, to stay alive, he ought to get him out of Damascus and make him Eddie Snowden's roommate in Moscow. They deserve each other.
Colonel, when you look at the accuracy here, I mean, they got 1,000 pounds of munitions, each and every Tomahawk missile, 18 feet long, 2 feet wide, flying at low altitudes, 600-mile attack here.
Right.
And 59, they took out 20 aircraft in this attack. It is almost precision perfect.
Well, it was.
I mean,
and Sean, one of the things that's important, because there's a lot of back chatter right now about whether this was a legitimate target. Shayrat Airfield was a legitimate target. It's all military. It's all revetments, aircraft, ground support equipment, the fuel farm, the air traffic control radars, and Syrian aircraft, as you point out. The bottom line of it was this was a proportional attack in a vital national interest of the U.S. in effort to deter the Syrians, or in fact others, from doing this kind of chemical attack again. And that means it was not only legal and it was not unconstitutional, it was the right thing to do and the right time to do it.
You know, it's amazing the professionalism of these guys. Colonel, do you see any potential response? I don't see it from either Assad or Russia, although Russia's trying to do a little phony saber rattling as we speak.
Yeah, I think that the collateral damage or the unintended consequences is one of our sister, well, I guess they're not even relatives, but another network is now talking about. It appears to be that the only unintended consequence is limited to the small handful of Trump bashers in Congress.
Thank you.
By the way, shamefully, one of them is a U.S. Senator from Virginia, Tim Kaine. He ought to have known better. Look, there's very positive consequences of this. The Moscow, Tehran, Damascus troika of terror is coming to a close. It's going to get unraveled. And other than Pyongyang, Vladimir Putin doesn't have any friends that matter. Number two, Assad is in real danger of a coup from his generals. If he goes, Hezbollah loses their logistics lifeline from Tehran through Baghdad and up the Euphrates River Valley into Lebanon. These are very positive consequences. North Korea's chubby little despot and his Ayatollah allies in their new ICBM joint venture is now in jeopardy, and he knows it. And one thing, I differ with one of your previous guests. The Turkish strongman Tayyip Erdogan has been prancing around with Putin and musing about pulling out of NATO. Well, guess what? The music just stopped. And Erdogan has suddenly realized, maybe I better back up my NATO relationship so that I'm not the next one to go.
I'm going to write this down. Chubby little despot. Colonel,
he is.
Good to see you, my friend. Safe home.
Appreciate you. Semper Fi.
And Semper Fi, my friend.